This is a great opportunity for the Dallas Cowboys as we get a major injury update for a very important player for our next matchup, and we have to break it all down. What's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Cowboys Football 365. If you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, please hit that subscribe button. But getting into the news for today, coming from the Landry hat, when the Dallas Cowboys take the field again, it will be Monday Night Football against the Las Vegas Raiders in Week 11. And after watching the Raiders kick off Week 10, there was a notable injury to come out of that one, and the Cowboys should be paying attention. Raiders quarterback Geno Smith went down with a leg injury against the Denver Broncos on Thursday night and was ultimately replaced by Kenny Pickett for a couple plays. After coming back into the game, Smith was hobbling and in obvious pain. The Dallas Cowboys, we got to figure out a way to get this season turned around, and we have an opportunity now coming up in Week 11, coming off our bye week, where we will have extra time to sit back, make sure we have the best possible game plan going into this next stretch of 4 games, starting with the Las Vegas Raiders, who are currently down their starting they're not down, but their starting quarterback Geno Smith is dealing with a quad contusion coming from Adam Schefter of the NFL. So Geno Smith not fully healthy, which is important because Geno Smith is already leading the NFL in total turnovers. So him dealing with an injury as well gives the Dallas Cowboys a significantly better chance to win this football game. Now, Geno does have great weapons surrounding him, such as Ashton Jeanty and Brock Bowers, but for whatever reason, he has not been able to maximize their talent and has so far turned over the football more than even Cam Ward, who is a rookie and turning the ball over like he doesn't even want the ball on his offense, really. So we got to figure out a way that we are going to make the most of this injury, and it is definitely something to pay attention to for the Dallas Cowboys, as their backup quarterback is New Jersey boy himself, Kenny Pickett, first-round pick of the Pittsburgh Steelers from a while ago. Hasn't really worked out in the NFL yet, but he's someone that you can't really sleep on. Remember, Kenny Pickett gives you some different looks, such as running plays from the quarterback that Geno Smith doesn't offer you. You have to imagine that right now the playbook is set up for Geno Smith, a pure pocket passer, to break down the Dallas Cowboy defense. But should Kenny Pickett have to start, we would then have to be ready for the run game as well. But we picked up some new acquisitions to help us deal with this. So hopefully, Kenny Pickett or Geno Smith, whoever it is, does not give us too many problems. And Vegas does not foresee too many problems for the Dallas Cowboys. So the betting markets coming out of Las Vegas have the Dallas Cowboys as minus 196 favorites to defeat the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm saying Vegas a whole lot, but I'm not going to stop. If you don't speak gambling, that means you have to bet $196 to win back $100 if you're going to bet on the Dallas Cowboys to beat the Raiders. Now, this is a good sign for the Cowboys, but we have to remember the game's played on the field, not on the odds sheets, not by the odds makers, not on the spreadsheets. It's played on the football field, and we have to make sure that we are prepared to take everything that the Raiders are going to try to give us. It was obvious by the Raiders draft picks that their identity for their football team is to pound the rock and make sure they are a very physical football team. Their first overall pick was Ashton Jeanty out of Boise State, who's a running back who is very, very, very difficult to tackle. Fortunately, the Las Vegas offensive line is very, very bad at blocking. And Ashton Jeanty, going into week 5 of the season, actually had more yards after contact than he did total yards. How does that make any sense for an NFL running back? I don't know. I just report the stats. I don't make the stats. I just report them. That's absolutely insane. But unfortunately for us, Vegas also has our Dallas Cowboys at plus 1,900 to win the division, meaning if you bet $100 on the Dallas Cowboys to beat out the Eagles, the Giants, and the Commanders to win the NFC East, you would win back $1,900 on top of your $100 for a total of $2,000 payout. That is really high. Vegas is really low on the Dallas Cowboys, and it comes from our defense being, unfortunately, the second worst defense in the NFL. But that should get better with the new acquisitions of Logan Wilson, the linebacker from the Cincinnati Bengals, and Quinnen Williams, the defensive tackle from the New York Jets. Those guys are going to make a difference, along with DeMarvion Overshown, the second-year linebacker out of the University of Texas, being added to the defense, and overall getting healthier on the back end. We are 1 week closer to, in theory, Trevon Diggs being eligible to return from IR. That's actually legitimate. In fact, Trevon Diggs every single week gets 1 week closer to being eligible to return from IR. The bad news on Trevon Diggs is I'm seeing from, I will stick it out here, not the most credible news sources in the world. People are thinking that Trevon Diggs might not come back at all, and they're worried about just how confusing and how shadowy and really what is going on overall with his injury. He got a concussion while at home, and people are theorizing online that he may not return at all this season for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, DaRon Bland has the record for pick sixes in an NFL season, which is awesome, but they're kind of fluky plays, and that's not something you can rely on. We need to see better consistency from DaRon Bland. He got absolutely routed up by Marvin Harrison Jr. last week, surrendering Harrison's best game as a pro, or maybe not his best game, but his most catches as a pro with 7 receptions. Just finishing off these odds here. Dallas, plus 1250 to win the Super Bowl. Guys, we're not winning the Super Bowl. The division, it's possible. It's possible. Gotta fight. It's possible. The Philadelphia Eagles are not as good as their 6-2 record would suggest. The Giants are losing guys left and right, and Jaden Daniels is out for the Commanders. It is certainly possible for us to come back and take this division over, but it is unlikely. It is unlikely, and it's also continues to be unlikely because after this Raider game, we got 3 really tough matchups coming up with the Philadelphia Eagles, and honestly, the first game at the Eagles was a really close game. The opening night of the NFL football season, Thursday night, the Eagles played a close game with us. We can beat them in Jerry's World. We can beat them at home. That's absolutely possible. And honestly, that's an opportunity that we need because we need 2 things to happen if we're going to win the division. 1, we need to win football games. 2, we need the Philadelphia Eagles to lose football games. So why not play them ourselves, parlay it, if that's the right word, make the same thing happen in both ways. That's an opportunity for us. It's not just that we don't not want to see the Eagles because they're good. We want to see them so we can beat them because, frankly, if we lose both games to the Eagles and get swept by them, we don't deserve to win the NFC East. So let's make that battle and hopefully let's win that fight. Hopefully things shake later in the season where we can take the division from them later, but it is not looking good. 4 weeks from now, November 27th against the Kansas City Chiefs. I really don't see how we win that game. And then December 4th in Detroit. That's another highly, highly difficult game. The Chiefs and the Cowboys are both top 5 teams in the entire NFL. If you were asking me, I'd say the Chiefs are number 1. The Lions are about number 3. So those are problematic teams to play. When you're fighting for an identity and fighting to win your division, those are 2 games that you those are 2 teams you don't want to see on your schedule. That's going to be a problem, but hopefully the Dallas Cowboys are going to get this thing turned around. Remember, we're getting Trevon Revel, our 2nd round pick out of East Carolina. He's coming back pretty soon off of IR, recovering from the torn ACL that he suffered in the final year of his college career, but we still decided to draft him high because that was a player who would have been a lock for the 1st round should he have been healthy, and he is a very, very long, rangy corner. Think Sauce Gardner when it comes to Trevon Revel. Not as good as Sauce Gardner, but think about a player like that where he's just got his arms are just like ridiculously long, and you're like, bro, who gave you all those arms? But that's what I got for this video. If you stuck around this long and watched it, appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and go Cowboys.